Hi everyone, welcome to End of the World Weekly. Let me tell you how this show works. I'm Newsbot 29000. I'm a robot from the post-apocalyptic future. I've been programmed to send these broadcasts into the past in hopes you Earth humans can avoid all the calamities that led to the end of the world. Okay, got it? Good. So let me tell you about some of your current events and how they spiral out of control and bring about the apocalypse. Last Sunday night, a man walked to the front of a movie theater in Manhattan and started muttering. The people near him got scared and ran out of the theater, starting a chain reaction that ended with the entire audience stampeding to the exit. Luckily, the whole episode was just an overreaction to someone acting strange. When reporters interviewed a 20-something afterwards, the young woman complained of how poorly the theater staff handled the situation, as if all movieplexes should be staffed by an elite anti-terror task force. Do you really want some 16-year-old making minimum wage to be in charge of your safety during a terrorist attack? The only thing on that kid's mind is how long it will take the hot butter burns to heal from his dick from fucking the popcorn last night. Earlier on Sunday, a security guard at the San Diego Chargers game was caught masturbating on field next to the cheerleaders. Men's rights activists hailed the security guard as a hero, stating that if the cheerleaders didn't want him to masturbate, then why were they dressed like that? A bunch of neo-Nazis threw a digital tissy fit on Monday. It all started when the hate-monger president of the National Policy Institute singled out several Jewish community members of Whitefish, Montana, to be harassed online. The National Policy Institute. That's a pretty professional-sounding outfit. I wonder what cause they championed. Well, let's just take a look at their mission statement. An independent organization dedicated to the heritage, identity, and future of the people of the European descent in the United States. Oh, so they were making sure things were good for white folk. What dummies! Things were already good for white folk. Things have always been good for white folk. The president of the organization was pissed about, well, he was pissed about everything, obviously, but in this particular instance, he was pissed that his mother's real estate business was being boycotted for its ties to his neo-Nazi propaganda machine. This dickhole called on his loyal followers to spam the accounts of several Jewish people living in Whitefish, and his rage-filled lackeys were all too eager to help, dishing out threats of violence and brutality that mostly went ignored because members of hate groups like these were predominantly furious but impotent slugs. The International Life Sciences Institute was a scientific group funded by Coca-Cola, General Mills, Hershey's, Kellogg's, and other food companies that added vast quantities of sugar to their foods. On Monday, they published a paper reporting that recent suggestions from the World Health Organization that people cut more sugar out of their diets was nonsense. The report also went on to expose the lie dentists had been covering up for decades and revealed that cavities were actually good for your teeth. Wednesday morning, Trump tweeted that he would have won the popular vote if he really wanted to. The final tally had Hillary Clinton beating the King Baby by 2.8 million votes. Numbers, of course, not being Donald's strong suit, declared himself the winner in both the Electoral College and the popular vote. He said that if you don't count all the illegal votes that were cast for Hillary, he would have won the popular vote. He said if he would have campaigned to win the popular vote, he would have won the popular vote. And eventually, he broke out some serious math skills and said that if nobody would have voted for Hillary, then he would have won the popular vote. It appeared that Trump was finally realizing that he was in over his head and wanted to trade Hillary his electoral college votes for her popular votes straight up. That way, he could go back to Monday morning quarterbacking the big boys like he was used to. Later on Wednesday, Newt Gingrich told reporters Trump was no longer going to drain the swamp. He said the phrase had fallen out of favor with Trump once the baby king started to appoint alligators, mosquitoes, and swamp things to his cabinet. This week, the cybersecurity firm investigating the organization responsible for the DNC hack named the culprit Fancy Bear. Fancy Bear was an arm of the Russian military intelligence agency tasked with attacking foreign governments through cyber warfare, and they received their name from traditional Russian dinner parties, where standard Russian guests would dress in their finest attire and gossip and trade secrets. Last week, a large military plane circled low over Manhattan one afternoon. New Yorkers were scared that they were under attack, and when asked about the aircraft, the military wouldn't say what was going on. This Wednesday, it was revealed that the whole thing was a training exercise on how best to remove Trump from Manhattan in case of an emergency. Which made me think of any action movie where a rescue team has to come save an important character, but the important character screams for the rescue team to save their family first? Could you imagine Donald Trump pulling any such heroics? If any situation resembling that scenario ever occurred to Trump, he'd be out with the rescue team in a flash. No, come back for them. I'm getting the hell out of here. On Thursday morning, a passenger was kicked off a flight at JFK after they verbally assaulted Ivanka Trump. King Baby's daughter was sitting in coach, and the passenger wanted to give her a piece of his mind. The passenger demanded to know why Ivanka was in coach and not on a private jet. Ivanka handled the situation with the poise and grace of a haunted scalpel. The precision of the tool fixes the immediate problem, and the curse leaves you suffering for the next 100 millennia. After Trump took office in January, the passenger that was removed from the flight was never seen or heard from again. Trump had been a strong opponent of foreign workers coming to the United States to steal jobs from hardworking Americans for a long time, except when those foreign workers were coming to America to work at a Trump-owned business where he could pay them less than an American would work for. Then he was all for it. Earlier this month, a vineyard that the Trumps owned in Virginia applied for work visas that would allow them to hire foreign laborers to come work at the vineyard for about 6 months in 2017. This was a common business practice utilized by Trump to save money, and also the first step in the application process to become the baby king's future wife. Alright everyone, that does it for this week of End of the World Weekly. Thanks again for watching. If you liked, feel free to leave a comment or subscribe. And you can also follow us on Twitter. And we'll see you again next week. Thanks again for tuning in. Bye!
Delicious.